Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant and welcome to this engineering investigation video. So in these series of videos, what I do is I'm just trying to go and I take note of all of the different concepts that I run into regarding engineering during the day, take a little note down, and then I come home and it's time to digest all of those high level concepts that I didn't understand at the time. Now it's time to, okay, well, let's go and let's do some work. Let's try to figure out what they are. Let's try to understand them and move ourselves forward as engineers. So, this series is more of a low key, chill investigation, just trying to understand these concepts a little bit better in a very relaxed sense. So let's get started. The first note that I have here is I'm trying to understand when I'm in C sharp and I do target and then I have net 8 or net 6 or net 5. How does that in my like palm file, how does that interact with the packages that I actually install? So I want to figure out how are these things connected, like the version of .NET that I'm using, and then the packages which I'm installing. So let's come here. I'm gonna minimize myself and let's figure this out. So in C sharp, I will see a line which allows me to change the version. Okay, it looks like, and then target framework, and then like this, and net 8.0, okay, like this, target framework. Okay, so now the question. Uh, what are the differences between these net versions, and how does this interact with the packages which are installed? Okay, and then to follow this up, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, here is the different versions. Here's how it affects the packages. Well, who is deciding? Is it this thing that I keep hearing called NuGet? But I'm not, when I install packages, I'm not actually even using this package manager of NuGet. I'm using like .NET add package and then the package name. So is .NET, is it like the Microsoft framework? What's happening here? Okay, so quick answer. Changing target framework like net 6, net 7, net 8 tells the project, okay, which version of .NET to run. Each version unlocks different APIs, performance improvements, and language runtime features, okay? Installed NuGet packages, here's NuGet, often declare which frameworks they support. So if my target here, like if I'm .NET 8, okay, is a newer version, you may gain access to more packages or newer APIs. But if your target is older, some packages might not be compatible. Okay, so from that, it seems like the newer my target framework is, the better. So my follow-up question now is going to be, then why would I ever have a lower number on my target? Why don't I always update that number to be the highest? Okay. Is there any advantage to having like 7 or 6? So what Target Framework does, the Target Framework allows your CS project, my C Sharp project file specifies the Target Framework moniker, TFM, okay? Target Framework moniker, TFM. It defines the set of APIs available to your project, okay? For example, net 6 targets. Okay, well that doesn't really. It's just .6 targets 6 runtime. Okay, it's not very informative. And then the years that they're. Okay, so what are some examples? Unified .NET Core framework, cross-platform baseline, native. I don't know. It's not really. It's, so far, this isn't doing it for me. Interactions with NuGet packages. Packages declare supported frameworks in their namespace file. Example, a package may support 678. When you install a package, NuGet picks the best matching assembly. Okay, so NuGet matches my target with the supported version of the library. Okay. If no compatible versions exist, you'll get a warning. Yeah, see? How do I fix this warning? Okay. What should I do in this case? Okay. Upgrading target can allow newer packages to work, yeah. Break compatibility with older packages. Okay, so maybe that's actually an answer to our previous one of why we would not want to use a higher level target, because if there's no package which supports that level, then it's going to be out of date. So like if we have a package that's no longer supported. Okay. Compatibility. Always check if your packages support the framework you're targeting. Okay, this is seeming to be a little bit less interesting than I thought. I don't know. Just okay, they're connected. Like the NuGet connects them. Okay, well, I put this here, but it seems intuitive to always pick the newest version, but there are practical reasons to stay lower sometimes. Development environment compatibility. If your app runs on servers, containers, or clients, machines that only have .NET 6 installed, targeting .NET 8 means it won't run there. Okay. So we would just need to reinstall each packet for .NET 8, which might take a long time, or they might not have a .NET 8 version yet. Okay. Okay. Some NuGet packages may not support the newest framework. Here we go. When you see errors or warnings because the package doesn't support the target framework, you have a few options. Yeah, what are my options available to me? So I can do .NET list package out of date or check NuGet. Often newer versions of the package add support for. Okay. Often newer versions of the package add support for newer frameworks. Use an alternative package. Okay, though. Multi-targeting. I didn't know that this is a thing. Okay, you can set your project to target multiple frameworks. Interesting. I didn't know that I could do that. Look at this. We're finding new information. Okay, this way you can build both environments, and NuGet will resolve the right assemblies for each. Or we can stay on the lower one. Okay, well, this one, I mean, we did actually get a little bit of new information here, but I think generally we understand what's going on here. Okay, so we got that one. What did I... Okay, so the next one is when I do a .NET add my package name. Okay. Why does the using statement in the program itself not match my package name. So you'll say a package name like .NET add and then whichever package you're looking for. I don't know. Uh, this one I just said my package name. But then in the user or in the actual C# code, you'll say using and then maybe the package name, not my package name. So the things are different. Um, so who associates them? Okay, so this is one of the things that can confuse a lot of people. Okay, great. Why using doesn't match the package name. NuGet package does not equal the namespace. Okay. Namespace. This is like Java packages. Right? Namespace. Okay. NuGet package name does not equal the namespace. So if you type in .NET add package, my package name is the NuGet package identifier. So NuGet, I think, is like the package manager, just like npm. And so it is responsible for going out to the internet and grabbing the package that you're looking for. The using statement in your code refers to the namespace defined inside of the assemblies of the package provided. Okay. These two are related, but not required to be identical. Okay, so I feel like I don't quite understand completely the difference. So I'm gonna have it give me some examples, but that's later on. I really should not be drinking coffee. It's 10 o'clock right now, but I need something to drink. It was just a sip. Just a sip, okay? So package can contain multiple namespaces. A single NuGet package may expose several namespaces. Oh, okay. So an example is newtonsoft.json. This is the package name. You write using newtonsoft.json, so it's the same because that's the namespace. Okay, but another package might be called Serolog Stinks or Sinks console. Okay. Yet the namespace you use is just Serolog. Okay. So package authors decide what namespace to expose. Okay, so the package author, the person who writes the code and exposes the package, they decide what the namespace is called. Sometimes packages are split into multiple smaller ones, but they all share a common namespace root. Okay? Example. So .NET add package Dapper. The package name is Dapper, and then the namespace is also Dapper. Yep. But this one we already said was Serolog, just using Serolog. Okay. What to do if you're unsure? Check the NuGet package page. Usually docs show the correct. Okay, so we can just look at the documentation for using. Let's actually do that right now. Just go here and copy and paste and look at the documentation. So I'm going to move this here and move this here and paste that in. Okay. So NuGet right there. So now I come here and see no documentation. Download no, I don't want to download the package. I just want the documentation. Project website, possibly. Oh, here, wait, no. README framework dependencies used by versions. Well, am I blocking it? Full stats? Sure. Okay. Project website? Sure. and it just takes me to a GitHub. Is there a README? Yep, here. Okay, so Serolog syncs, or Serolog sync that writes log events to the Windows console or an ANSI terminal via standard output, coloring the custom themes. Okay, so it just tells you what it does. Mm, so we have this one, Serolog formatting compact. And then we have something up here, which is like Serolog syncs console. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to copy this and say, like, here. And then I'm going to copy this one down here. And I'm going to try to figure out what these differences are. And then let's see if there's any more. Yeah, like what about this one? Like, there's so many of these ones. I went to the documentation and I saw so many of these. Like, what? How do I choose which one I want? What are the Whoops. What are the differences? And what am I actually selecting when I do the .NET add command for each of them? Then how do I associate the using statement with each of them? And actually, what does adding the using statement even do? Okay, because okay, well, we have this thing. It's like giving you access to a namespace. What does that mean? Hello? Hello? Okay. Where's the refresh? Oh, here. Did I lose internet access or what? Ah! No, no, I lost internet access. Okay, fine. Okay, there we go. We got it back. Hello? Hi? Come on. Load, 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 load. Come on now. You got it. There we go. Good thing I copied it. Otherwise, I would have had to redo all that, right? Unless it got it. No, it did not. See? Good thing I did copy it. Okay, so move myself there. So here. Each command pulls a NuGet package into my project. Pulls it into my project. Yep. The package contains one or more DLLs with classes, methods, and namespaces. So each package contains multiple classes, methods, and namespaces. You're not selecting a namespace directly. You're selecting a bunch of them. I'm selecting a bunch of them, okay? So, let's see. Serilog syncs console. A sync where you write log events to the console. Without this, Serilog won't output to your terminal, okay? Serilog formatting compact provides a compact JSON formatter for log events, useful if you want structured logs that are machine readable, okay? Lets you configure Serilog app config, web config. Okay, so they're different namespaces and like they're almost different libraries, right? So each package adds a specific capability to Serilog. But the overarching thing is Serilog, is that correct? If you pick one of these, or you pick the ones you need depending on how you want to configure and where you want to send logs. Okay. Maybe this requires a little bit more. Hold on a second. Okay. So each package adds a specific capability to Serilog. But I never explicitly installed Serilog though, right? Number one, but I never explicitly installed Serilog itself. You pick the one you need depending on how you want to configure. Okay, so how using statements fit. A using statement in C# brings a namespace into the scope. Example, using Serilog. So they're just doing using Serilog. And then Serilog formatting compact for this one. Console here, okay? So these do match, but that's just kind of the way that the authors did it. You only need using if you're referencing types of that namespace in my code. Okay, so logger, this new logger might be a Serilog thing. Write to console, okay. Write to console comes from, okay, so here, the functionality write to console comes from Serilog syncs console, and compact JSON formatter comes from Serilog for, okay. This one comes from this one, the second one. Okay, so what does a using statement actually do? It doesn't install anything. Okay, so when we install, that's the .NET add. That's when we're actually installing. Okay, yeah. It doesn't activate a package. You still need to call its class. Okay, so I think what that statement is saying here is it is making a differentiation between something like Python, which if you do import and then a library, it will call the main. I believe this is correct. Let me is this different than something like Python, which will call the main when a file has hashtag import my package name. Call the main in my package name. Okay. So without using, okay, here, var format it is equal to, and then I have to use the entire thing. But I can do that. Okay. I've come into contact with this. I found this out kind of by myself, and I was like, well, I was unable to use something, and then I was able to just kind of string along the things kind of like this, stringing Serilog, formatting, compact, and it worked that way. And I was like, wait, hold on. So I think what's going on is because it's already installed, we can do it this way, but the namespace just allows me to have a shortcut to just say this right here, because we already were using those like kind of like in I think C++, we can just do C out, and it knows, the compiler knows what we mean by that, and we don't need to do whatever the std out colon out, I don't know. Is this similar to I know very little about C++. In C++, when we use a namespace for cout, but if we don't have that namespace, we need to do something like this, something like that. Okay. So with using Serilog, formatting compact, we can just skip all of that and go directly here. It's a shortcut for name types. Okay, there we go. That kind of makes sense. So .NET Add, that's actually installing it and putting it into our project. Then the using is just say, hey, I want to have nicknames, essentially. And I don't want to write out the full thing. I think that's what we're saying. But I never explicitly installed Serilog itself. The core Serilog package is actually called Serilog. Most of the packages you listed, this one, are extensions of the that plug into the core. If you only install this one but not Serilog, you won't have the base logging. Yeah. So I usually have to do, okay, then that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. So okay, again, this is what I'm liking to do with these engineering investigation videos, is something where, I could have just glossed over it and said, it's just installing packages, something like that. It's just whatever. It works. I'm happy. I found a method. But now I'm trying to understand, okay, well, hold on. What actually is going on? What is the connection between all of these different components and how are they working? So the Serilog is kind of what did it call it? Is the uh, core package. So the core Serilog package is actually just Serilog, and we need to install that into our project. Most of the packages that I listed, the Serilog.syncs.console and Serilog formatting compact, are extensions that plug into the core. Okay, so it's additional. If you only install the syncs formatter settings but not Serilog, you won't have base logging. Yeah, so I usually start with that. And then add whatever I want. Awesome. Think of it like Serilog is the engine and the other packages are attachments. Awesome. Okay. So it doesn't activate a package. Is this different from Python imports? Yes, it's different. So in C#, adding a NuGet package just makes the DLLs available to me. Okay. A using statement only brings the namespace into the scope. So it kind of tells me that I'm allowed to um, just call it by whatever I want. Not whatever I want, but by the shortened name. Nothing runs automatically. You must explicitly call classes and methods. So using Serolog doesn't start logging. You must configure log.logger. In Python, import my package name actually executes the package's top level code. If the package has a main or initialized logic, it runs immediately. Yes. Okay, good. We're starting to make all of these connections. Awesome. That's why importing a Python or imp that's why importing in Python can feel like activating something. Yes. Here we go. So, is it similar to C++'s namespace like std cout? So yes, it's a good analogy. So in C++, cout lives inside of the standard namespace. Without using namespace std, you must write std, and then I think that this was like uh, resolution operator. Oh my goodness. So I took C++. When you first like learn to code, at I started off at Portland Community College, and that was done in C++. That was the last time I touched C++. And then when I went to Oregon State University, I just used Python for everything. So, um, and yeah, so I haven't used C++ in a very long time. So now, what are we doing? In C Sharp, namespaces work the same way. Without using Serolog, you have to write Serolog log. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Well, I think this actually does kind of. Is there anything else? We got that one. Yeah. Um, that actually wraps up some most all of my questions that I came into contact with today. So I feel like we moved forward. I understand how this is working a little bit better. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe, follow me along for this journey, and hopefully we will be able to improve ourselves as engineers, become better and better. And yeah, thank you for watching. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys very soon.